as you all know, in a lot of my videos, the advice that I give to women is being a part of a man's dream, helping that guy get further along and go somewhere with his dream, because that makes you more valuable to that man. Now, what a lot of women have asked me, they say, well, what do I do when I help a guy along with his dream and he leaves me once he gets there? What happens if he leaves me once he gets up? Well, that's a good question, because that does happen sometimes. That happens quite a bit, actually. Guys do leave women after they've helped them out. Guy starts out on the bottom, and then you help him out, and, a lot of times he leaves. Well, there's a few things that you really have to think about in this situation. Number one, you have to ask yourself, because we got to be real with ourselves. The more honest we are with ourselves, the easier things are, and easier things are to work out. You got to ask yourself the real question, like, could I get a rich dude, or could I get a dude that's already there to be serious about me right now? Is that what usually happens? Do guys who are already there really take me seriously? Are they really trying to be in a relationship with me? Be real with yourself. Answer that question for yourself. If the answer is no, then that means that you're probably going to have to get a dude that you're going to have to work with and work your way up, because you're not really attracting the dudes that are already there. Okay? So you got to put that in your mind first and foremost. All right, then the next thing you got to think about is, if you're going to help some guy up, what are you going to be doing for yourself while you're helping that person up? Because if you're helping that person up, but you're not really doing much for yourself, you're not really putting your own life together, then that means they're improving and you're not. You're basically trying to get a better product, because this person has become a better product with a lesser product, or pay a lesser price, because you haven't really improved. You can't rest on what you did in the past. You can't do that in any job. You can't do that in life in general. It just doesn't work that way. You can't say, oh, well, I helped you when you were down, so that means you need to be with me for the rest of your life. It's like, yeah, you helped me when you were down, but you didn't when I was down, but you didn't really help. You didn't really take care of me, and then get yourself together. I got myself together. You might have helped me, but I got myself together, and now you're kind of like, floating at the bottom still. You got to be real with yourself. Are you improving? Are you putting yourself in a position where when somebody looks at you, they say you should be with that kind of a person? Have you, if you help them to improve themselves financially, have you improved your business acumen? Have you improved your ability to handle finances? Have you improved some of the things that you might need to do when you're with somebody who has money like that? I mean, are you good at socializing with people who have money? Are you good at keeping your environment looking nice, organizing bills, things of that nature that might help this dude out once you get him to the point that you get him to? Because we have to always think about what's the next step once this works, because that's the biggest thing that happens to most people in life, is they're not really ready for something to work. They're like, okay, I'm going to help my man out, and I'm going to get him here, and I'm going to do this. And then it's like, okay, now that it worked, okay, what's the next thing? What do I do now? What's my role in this successful thing? And a lot of people run into that problem. They'll help a business along, and when it becomes successful, they don't have a role because they haven't grown with the business. So you have to grow. Another thing you want to look at is you're really only as good as the last person that you dated and the last person you were with. I'm just being real. Some people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but it's just, I'm telling you how guys really think. If you tell us that your baby daddy is in jail, that takes you down multiple notches. Now, don't get me wrong, and y'all probably noticed this because you probably dealt with it before. There are some brothers who love to date a girl whose baby daddy or ex-boyfriend or whatever the case may be is all messed up, because that guy is operating at a medium to low level. He might have a job, but he doesn't really see himself as being attractive. He doesn't really have a great personality where he attracts a lot of women. So he likes the fact that your baby daddy or your ex-boyfriend or the people that you've been with in the past are down low or haven't accomplished anything, because that makes his meager accomplishments seem really big and really major. I know what I'm saying might piss some people off, because that may be you. Oh well, it is what it is. But a lot of dudes like that, because that makes their meager accomplishments seem really, really big. But those guys are usually the kind of people who are going to be really jealous. They're really insecure. Some of you have already probably dealt with dudes like that, who kind of like the fact that your ex wasn't really much. Or you're going to run into guys who are really low. they don't really care that your baby daddy wasn't anything because they're really low at the time. They're like, well, I'm broke and I don't have anything. So that's kind of the type of people that you're going to attract, one or the other for the most part. Either somebody who is really low, or somebody who has meager accomplishments that's going to kind of be a little bit insecure. That's usually what you're going to attract when the guy you're coming off of is really low or really, really down on his luck, broke, in jail, some crazy stuff like that. You're usually going to attract people who are either just a little bit above him or where he is, or somebody who is, a couple ranks above, but kind of insecure, really don't have a lot going for them mentally. So that's usually what you'll attract. Now, when you deal with a guy, say, and you help him up, and he gets to a higher level, well, that elevates you. If you've been doing the right things to elevate yourself, that elevates you because now you're around people who are of a higher level. Also, when you deal with a guy and he finds out who your ex is, he's going to have a thought process like, I got to step my game up. Because, yes, some guys are going to be intimidated by the fact that you were with a high-level dude before, but let's be real, those guys are losers. I know people are going to get mad at me for saying that. What does that mean? Look, as a man, if you're intimidated by the fact that the girl's dude was a somebody, then that means you don't see yourself as a somebody. So what does that make you? In terms, not in life in general. I'm not going to say you're a loser. Like I'm saying, the way society would perceive you generally would be as a loser. Because that's just because you're not willing to compete. People who are not willing to compete are generally seen as losers in society. That's just the way it is. Get mad at me if you want to, but that's the way it is. So if you get with a guy and you help him up, that elevates his level. So now when you talk to people about your last person that you were with, they see that you were with somebody of a high level, and that makes them have to treat you better. That's really how it works. Guys may not tell you this, but guys treat you according to the way that they think they can get away with. Okay? If you tell a dude, for instance, my last boyfriend, he bought me a car, he did this, he did that. That dude is like, damn, now I gotta try to buy this chick a car. Now I gotta try to do something better for this girl than the last dude did. Because even if he's not gonna buy you a car or whatever, because he's like, I ain't tricking, or whatever the case may be, he knows that there's a certain level that he's gonna have to treat you at, or you're probably gonna bolt on him. He knows that, especially if you seem like you got self-esteem and you're not going. A lot of guys will talk tough, like, I treat girls any kind of way, no matter who they are, no matter who they were with before. Yeah, those guys are saying that from their computer at the crib while they're by themselves. But in real life, you can't really do that and you know it. You know if a girl's been operating at it's like, I was watching this movie, Waiting to Exhale, one time, and she said, when you've been treated good, you can't go back to bullshit. And that's really how it is. And guys know that. We know that if a girl's been with somebody who was about something, who had something, and we come in with nothing and are trying to give her, less than, then we know that girl's going to get tired of it and she's going to bolt. And guys, if you didn't know, now you do. So when you help a guy out, what you're doing is you're elevating the status of the type of guy you date, which is elevating your status. So even if he does leave, even if he leaves you high and dry, he's increased your network by the fact that he's been successful and you're around more successful people. He's also increased your level in terms of guys that you try to talk to, because now you can say, this is the kind of guy that I deal with. So even if the guy does leave, you're still in a better position than you would be in if you broke up with some guy who had nothing, some guy who was sleeping in a cardboard box. Because if you tell us that the last guy you dated was sleeping in a cardboard box, I promise you that brings you down notch after notch after notch. You just plummet in terms of your stock. If you tell us that the dude that you have a baby with is homeless and on drugs, I promise you that brings you down just an infinite amount of notches. And the reason why is because the guy looks at it, guys, y'all can chime in and tell him what I'm telling them is true. The guy looks at it and is, wait a minute, you get pregnant by homeless dudes and now you want me to take care of their baby? Hell no. You gonna go ahead and deal with these thugs and people who aren't about anything, and then when the beach party is over, I'm supposed to take care of their responsibilities. That's how a guy thinks. If you're sitting there saying, yeah, this baby is by a senator, which means you don't have anything to do with taking care of this baby really, because he's probably got more money than you and probably putting more into child support. That tells that guy that, oh, okay, you deal with good high-level guys, so I'm coming into a situation with a high-level girl. I'm not coming into a situation with somebody who deals with bums. So if you want to change the game around for yourself, you know, when you find a guy, maybe right now you can't get guys that are operating on the highest level, but if you can find somebody that's got the ambition, that's got all the things that you're looking for to help them up, then that may be a good look for you, because that gets you entree into the highest level guys. If you notice, high level guys keep dating the same girl. People talk about Kim Kardashian, Amber Rose, a lot of these other celebrity daters all the time, and they say, oh, they're hoes and all this kind of stuff. Let's be real. Most women are bouncing from one dude to another. Them dudes just ain't famous. You got to ask yourself this question. How come these girls just keep getting the highest level guys over and over and over again? Because high level guys will generally date in the same circle. They want to date somebody that's certified to be able to date a high level guy. So if you can't get a high level guy right off top, you can help to create one, and then even if y'all relationship doesn't work out, that certifies you to get another high level guy. You no longer are the type of girl who dates bums. You date high level dudes.